welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Carrie.
What up?
All right, guys, we're back, and we are here to talk about Ocean's 8. Carrie, you just got out of the screening for this.
Literally a half hour ago, yeah.
I am sad I could not make this one. So, Ocean's 8 is in the universe of the Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13 movies, starring Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, Mindy Kaling, Sarah Paulson, Awkwafina, Rihanna, Helena Bonham Carter.
Those are the 8.
Those are the 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have never seen an Ocean's movie, which is insane to me. What did you think of this movie?
So I really didn't know what to expect from this movie. Like I've been like in the same room while Ocean's 11 was on the television, but that's largely been my exposure. Like I know that
enough.
George Clooney is in that movie, but that's
about it.
And that they're heist movies.
Right.
So I was going in about as fresh as you can possibly get here.
I would argue yes.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good.
I feel like, and
good.
Look, here's the thing. I have not seen Ocean's 8, but I have a feeling if you like this, you should definitely go back and see the other movies. They're a lot of fun.
Like it honestly, like coming out of this, it made me want to go see those movies. Despite the fact that like I looked at like the average like Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic scores,
Sure.
and I know like they sort of slowly like got worse.
The first one is the best.
Yeah.
Ocean's 11 is the best.
So, yeah, no, it was awesome. So you've got Sandra Bullock character who is Debbie Ocean.
Right.
Danny's sister.
Right.
Fresh out of jail.
Just like the first one.
Time to make some money.
Yep.
So she gets together a gang of ladies and they decide that they are going to steal this incredible diamond necklace. They go into like the history of the necklace and whatnot, but it's a bunch of diamonds and they're worth like $150 million.
Okay, fair enough.
So they're going to steal it. And so the crew that they get together includes a fashion designer who is Helena Bonham Carter's character, a hacker who is Rihanna, who is...
I'm very interested to hear Rihanna's...
It's real good.
How she is in this.
She's real good.
Is she? That's
She's
good.
Basically just like smoking a lot of weed and sitting on a computer.
Okay, so Rihanna's
And
playing
I'm like,
herself.
Big mood.
yeah. That's fair.
You've got like a pickpocket. Yeah, like just sort of like this crew. And so basically what they decide to do is the Met Gala is coming up. So it's sort of timely. The Met Gala like just happened.
Right. Just a couple weeks ago.
So the Anne Hathaway character is like the host of the Met Gala this year. And so they decide to have Rose, the fashion designer, be her designer. And so they're going to like get this necklace out of this vault and put it on Anne Hathaway and then steal it off of Anne Hathaway at the Met Gala.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
that's
the general plot.
Yeah, that's the general gist of things.
Okay, so in seeing the other movies, and again, I haven't seen this one, that is not wildly different. Like it feels like it's in the same place. It sounds very similar to the original, which was starring Frank Sinatra and like his crew of drunks, who I love, the Rat Pack, right? So it's not as like crazy fancy, like they get away on a bus. Like it's not as like tech heavy, but it's still a great movie. But this sounds like it's very much in the same in line with the Ocean's 11 movies with Clooney. Now, what I like is that Sandra Bullock and Cate Blanchett are Clooney and Pitt. Like they're clearly they're playing those roles, which is kind of awesome.
Are so good. Like every look that Cate Blanchett has in this movie is just like, mwah. Like she ends the movie in like this sequined like one piece jumpsuit, and I'm just like, my queen, just like. Thank you.
She's had a fucking hell of a run in the last two movies.
Thank you for my wife. No, everyone looks real good. I guess my one sort of hang up, like as a queer woman, was like this seemed to present like the perfect opportunity to have some like queer relationships on screen.
There aren't any. That's I'm actually surprised.
There weren't. So There weren't really much in the way of any hints at any either. So I was just like, kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that a lot of people like immediately got hung up on when they announced this movie was like, oh, they're just doing this with all ladies. And there's a line in this movie that stood out to me because it's Sandra Bullock and Cate Blanchett, and they're talking about like who they want in their crew for this. Right. And Cate Blanchett like holds up a photo of like some dude, and Sandra Bullock's like, not him. We don't need a him. And Cate Blanchett is like, why, just because it's a him? And Sandra Bullock says, hims get noticed, hers get ignored. And that's why they have this all-female crew. Yeah,
I mean, if you're robbing the Met Gala, I would argue, women would go far more unnoticed. Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good way to handle that via a plot device and not make it just like, oh, this is, I mean, it doesn't, in fairness, it doesn't seem weird to have an all male robbing crew, right? So why would it be weird going the other way? But I'm fine with them addressing that in that way. That makes sense.
So no, it's a lot of fun. It's very funny. It's just very cleverly written.
My guess is the dialogue is very snappy.
There's a lot of snappy dialogue. Yeah.
I see Steven Soderbergh produced it, which makes a lot of sense because he directed the original Ocean's movies. Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely go see it. I was so pleasantly surprised by how good it actually was. Yeah, so. I love those movies, man. They are a lot of fun. When they announced this initially, I was like, is it going, right? You know, just because of the timing and everything, like, is this going to just be a remake done with women just to try to prove a point, which I think is the bad way about going about these things. Right. I think if you're going to do them for a reason, right? And there's no reason why these women can't be shown as like these master criminals and stuff like that, right? But as when they announced it with Sandra Bullock, I was like, I'm in. Yeah. And then it was like, and Cate Blanchett is kind of the Brad Pitt. I was like, oh, it's done. I will see this movie immediately. And then the rest of the cast, I was like, doesn't matter, don't care. Yeah. I'll see it. Just because I like the two of them so much. Yeah. Because so much of the other Ocean's movies is predicated on the team interaction, but Clooney and Pitt's interactions are so damn good. Yeah, and that's what makes it.
There's just a lot of really good banter between those two, and a lot of good chemistry between those two. Yeah. And
that's important.
Thank you.
Because correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure someone on YouTube will, but I'm pretty sure in the original that's basically Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it makes sense. Like those guys have to, whoever the two top people are, they have to be, their chemistry has to be excellent. Like it makes the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And while it certainly is focused on those two, the rest of the cast has so many really good moments. Yeah. It's shared pretty evenly across the board.
That's awesome.
I do like the opening sequence of her just acting her way out of jail in front of the parole board, and then immediately shoplifting, and I'm just like, I like her.
Yeah.
I kind of want to rob somebody now.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't. It's not going to end up the same in the movies. You're going to go to jail.
No, I'm going to go to jail.
Now, I'm not going to ask you how they do it. I want to see it and find out myself. Mm-hmm. But do they do the same sort of method, which is everything happens and then they go to the end and they kind of give you the reveal of all this extra stuff behind the scenes?
There is. It's one of those things where it's they get the necklace. And you see them fencing the necklace and whatnot, and then they're sort of wait, the math of this doesn't really add up.
Right, and then they sort of go back
and show of all this other shit they were doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, see, every good heist movie, you have to have that. Yeah, you have to have that.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things in the Ocean's movies, because as you're watching it, even as it's like watching a magic trick and having it shown to you. You're sitting in the front row, but then they go, okay, we did it. That's cool. Now come behind the scenes and we'll show you how we really did it. And that to me has always been a thing with the Ocean's movies. I'm like, yeah, the ending, whatever. Get to the real ending. That's what I want to see. And that's cool that they kept with that. I love these movies. So does it leave it open that they could do, I guess, an Ocean's 9?
A 9 and a 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely does. There's no sort of wrap up of the storyline. And the fact that, this is they're calling it like a spin-off, because it's not like a prequel. Like, yes, it's 9 and 9 or 8, and 8 certainly does come before 11 but
good.
It doesn't take place before 11.
Right.
It takes place after 13.
Yeah.
So there are some characters from the trilogy that show up like very briefly, just to sort of like connect.
Right, and that's fair.
But beyond the fact that Sandra Bullock is Danny's brother.
Sister.
Yeah. Yes.
So, however that works.
Whatever.
No, that's cool. I'm very excited to see this. I was bummed I couldn't make it tonight actually for this, but good. I'm glad to hear this was good. I don't know that I know the director Gary Ross's work off the top of my head. I was trying to. He did Pleasantville. Oh, Seabiscuit. Oh, okay. The original Hunger Games. Okay. All right, that's fair. But yeah, look, I'm sure it was fun because those movies are always fun.
It was super fun. Do I just give my score?
Yeah, out of 5.
I mean, I think I'd probably give it like a 4.
Okay.
My one sort of hang up is that I was expecting things to go, like I was expecting a conflict at some point, and there wasn't really. Right. It's just sort of like, oh, they're going to do the thing, and then like they do the thing, and like
that's it.
That's sort of it. And like it's neat and it's fun. It's a really fun ride, but I was hoping for some more of a conflict.
Okay, that's fair. One last question. How is the soundtrack?
Oh, it's legit. Yeah.
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 Like that's one of the big things about the Ocean's movies is like the cool, I wouldn't say jazz, but like, I don't know, it's like a very poppy sort of.
There are 2 songs that stood out to me in their usage. One is Bach's Toccata and Fugue in D minor, but like a contemporary, like it's not played on like an organ, like it's being played on a contemporary keyboard, and like that's sort of like playing in the background a few times throughout the movie. And maybe that just stuck with me because I'm a music nerd and I like Bach.
Yeah.
But they use like Gold on the Ceiling was the other one that really stuck with me.
Yeah, so. Okay. Then it's it's in line with the other movies. Yeah. Excellent. All right. So there you go. 4 out of 5 for Ocean's 8. And we will see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Bye. You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.